Like, subscribe, doing that. You already know what time it is. It's Netflix time. This show is called Pieces of Her. There's 8 episodes. It's 45 minutes apiece. Episode 1, let's get it. The first thing we see is all this snow, a girl trapped in a box. So we're thinking, who the heck is this chick? Next we get to this girl named Andrea, or Andy for short. She's a 911 dispatcher, and she kind of does her job, but sometimes she gets distracted, and the customers end up hanging up. But to be fair, the person she was on the phone with, she was arguing about her next door neighbor's dog, who really wasn't doing nothing to her. And that's pretty much what that was. So she's heading back home on her bike. You can see the layout on her house, got a little she shed on the side too, which we find out later on ain't her house, it's her mom's house. Introducing her mom, Toni Collette. But she plays Laura in this one. Now, Laura's been working at disabled facilities for veterans and stuff like that, so she likes to help people. She's helping this one guy right here with his stuttering ability. Meanwhile, Andy's looking at pictures on the wall. Now, apparently, that's Andy's real dad. Omari Hardwick at the pictures. What's he doing there? And after that, mom comes home. Then they go to this spot to get some food. So Andy's mom, Laura, has always been the helpful one, and Andy's always been the pessimistic one. They have this back and forth contrast to their relationship. But then Laura's longtime friend Betsy shows up with her daughter Shelly. They're just chilling, having a conversation and whatnot. So while they talking, Andy gets up to go to the bathroom. This guy gets up out of nowhere and sees her, walks right past her, pulls out a gun and bangs off on Shelly and Betsy. What's the meaning of this? What was the meaning of this? Laura runs over to protect her daughter Andy. Apparently some dude tried to call the police. Siri was letting them know it's trouble, and basically this guy got in trouble. Yeah. Done deal, deaded his ass. Then he looks back over at Andy, is like, hey, aren't you a cop? You gonna do something? You just gonna sit there? Then Laura's gotta convince this man, like, look, she's not a cop. She's a 911 dispatcher. All she does is answer phone calls about people being in trouble. But then Laura flips it around and snatches the gun out of his hand. He got the gun back but ran out of bullets. Then he takes a knife out and stabs her right through her hand with the shit. Like, damn. Now, I don't know what the fuck Laura did, but she snapped into another world, yo. Laura ended up slitting his throat with the knife that's still in her fucking hand. See, look, the knife is still through her hand. This shit is crazy. I know Andy's like, what the fuck? Nah, scratch that. What the fuck is my mom? She did that shit so fast it was crazy. After the police came, they tried to talk to her mom. The only response Andy could get from her, she kept saying she was cold and she kept telling her not to talk to the police. Laura all of a sudden thinks it's snowing. So Andy's thinking to herself, where the fuck did she go to? What place in her brain got her tripping like this? So Andy got to the hospital and there's Omari Hardwick. He plays Gordon. So apparently Gordon is Andy's stepfather. And Andy's never met a real father. The only thing she has of him is the picture in the house. Meanwhile, Laura is zoned the fuck out. The surgeon's on the way up, but that shit is crazy how the knife is still in her damn hand. Apparently all of a sudden now she's on the news. She's famous for saving more people's lives by stepping into the line of fire. The problem is she's pissed off she's on the news. She don't want that type of shit. She don't want to be recognized. By who though? And then here come the cops asking all types of questions, but they ain't answering none of that shit. But then apparently there was a video that went out. Somebody somehow in the restaurant recorded everything and how it all went down. And right as she looked at the video, she was thinking about giving some answers. But then Laura gets out of surgery, she's like, hey, get your asses over here. They take her home, she ain't having none of it. Then she tells her daughter the moment she gets home, she has to pack up and move out. So the thing with Andy is she used to work in New York. Some things happened and Laura got sick and then she ended up coming home. Now all of a sudden Laura's telling her to move out. But she does tell her she can stay with Gordon for a little bit. So we're thinking to ourselves, who the hell would want to hurt poor old Laura? Gordon gets the car, they dip out. But they go around the back way so Laura can hide from the news beat, the media and all that. But what's this? A certain somebody's watching the news too. They don't show his face, but apparently he knows who Laura is and they like, hey, she's out here. We got a problem. Who is this man? He's got that Michael Douglas walk. I bet you it's Michael Douglas. I'm trying to tell you. But like I said, they don't show us his face. I guarantee you, I'm betting you it's Michael Douglas. I'm trying to tell you. I believe it is. Fuck that shit. Well, anyway, Laura and Gordon get back home. Andy goes back to the house to take a shower and get some of her stuff. So basically, Laura needs Andy to go. I think she's trying to protect her from something. But it seems like Gordon might be hip to whatever situation that she's in. He just seems like he knows shit. So Andy's spending time going through the feeds of the Crab Shack, looking at the comments and whatnot. And Laura's getting all her props for defending the Crab Shack. But then the other comments like, who's that cop? He didn't do shit. Why the cops don't help people? Fuck the police. The problem is they don't know. She wasn't a cop. She's a 911 dispatcher. But anyway, Gordon comes by for a drink, gives her a sandwich, gives her an update on Laura, and all that. Then after he leaves, Andy falls asleep for a second. She starts having a dream about a crate and snow, and the little girl that's in the crate. What's the connection here? We saw this at the beginning of the episode. So what do you think? Is that supposed to be Laura in the crate? But if that be the case, why would Andy be having dreams about that? Because she don't really know nothing about Laura's past, apparently. Next thing you know, she wakes up, she's like, oh yeah, I forgot to pack. So she packs up some stuff, goes to her mom's house. She's in a she shed getting her bike. She's going through stuff, drops her phone, and she ends up kicking it under the thing. Under a dresser or something like that. But she turns around and sees this dude's face, like, what the fuck is this? Now she's so low to the ground that he can't see her. Then all of a sudden he leaves and she hears a window breaking. Now she's about to go over to the other part of the house and hear the commotion. The problem with this bullshit is, she never went back to get her fucking phone. You are a 911 dispatcher. You literally take calls for people's help as a profession. You know you're in trouble, and you don't bother to get your phone after you're like somewhat out of danger? Freaking retarded. Nevertheless, she sneaks in, goes through the house. The guy's got her tied up, trying to suffocate her. Next thing we know, the daughter bashes her with some type of statue, knocking them all on her in the gut. ground. Get the gun, get the gun. She ends up knocking this nigga out with the gun. He might be done deal dead as shit, but he ain't moving. So I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy. That hurt, get your ass up. She gets Laura untied. Her mom tells her to dig through the guy's pocket. She finds keys, a phone. She ends up giving her some money, a passport, and all this shit. Tells her to drive to Carrollton. Don't take calls from anybody except me. Then she asks her, where's her other phone? And then she said, she's like, leave that shit. Don't call anybody. Don't call your friends. Don't call Gordon. Don't call nobody. Wait till I call you. When she's get there, she gotta go to a storage place called Get 'em Go. Tells her look for the locker number 320. Once she opens up the 320 locker, she's got a car there. She says take it and head up north. Tells her to find a hotel in Maine, stay in Camden. She said don't use the car, GPS, none of that shit. Now my thing is, Laura already had all this stuff planned for his daughter to go. So I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck is Laura into? Yo, that helping people shit is a disguise for something, but we don't know what it is yet. It's the first episode. Andy finds the bad guy's car. She gets in it. Get the hell out of there. Police are coming to the house. Why is that? Because Andy had already called him for Laura's phone before the scuffle. She ducked down, let the police go, and then she gets the fuck out of there. And then she leaves Belle out and does what her mom says. And that's the first episode for you. So if I broke it down to having one question, what the hell was Laura into all these years? Pieces of her on Netflix. Check it out. Like, subscribe, do all that. You already know what time it is. Look, these, easy, miss. Big. You got a slogan.